You wanna laugh? You wanna laugh? You're so silly. You're so funny. What? Hey. Hi, my friend. You're my friend. You're my graham cracker. Yes, you are.
Well, Jack was born June 21st, 2007, and he was a happy baby, cuddly, cooey, laughed, giggled. I think those are room videos, very giggly and pretty happy.
Yeah.
About when he was 17 months old, I woke up in the middle of the night and I just had a panic attack. I was sound asleep, woke up, and I just knew something was wrong. And I just realized that in waking Rich up, I told him, I said, I don't think I've heard Jack talk or even try to make any noises in a very long time. I said, I can't even remember what his little voice sounds like. Tantrums were increasing, lasting at least 30 to 45 minutes. I traveled with him all the time going to grocery stores, but all of a sudden it was like just putting on shoes, getting in the car seat. Things that we did every day, several times a day, would take 45 minutes just getting in the car seat. It would completely throw him for a loop. But I think for us, really when we knew something more serious was going on besides the speech was when Hannah was born. Jack was 22 months at the time, and he just didn't see her. She would scream and cry, and he wouldn't try to go to her to comfort her. He wouldn't try to bring me a bottle or a blanket or anything. In fact, when he would come and get me to get him something, I'd be holding Hannah and I'd be, look at Hannah, look at Hannah. And it was like he just looked straight through Hannah and like straight to me, and it just broke my heart.
But at the same time, he was also losing sight of us. Unless he wanted something, he was in his own little world. He had kind of resigned to, nothing and nobody unless it was just something he needed, or, we basically became just another means to get him a toy off a shelf, or, to get him food or something like that. Otherwise, if we were right next to him, it didn't matter. The train that he was pushing was more important. Mm-hmm. It was tough, very tough.
There was one time at the lake that he slipped away from us for a minute, and we found him walking on the dock, and doesn't respond to his name, and
no, you're screaming from the top.
Yeah.
To just stay away from the
yeah.
water.
And then
making a mad dash down there.
It was when he was a little bit over 1 year old, and he had a couple of words of vocabulary and total eye contact, smiling, and then all of a sudden it just started going away to where there was just nothing. It was total blankness and absolutely no sound whatever coming out of him. Nothing.
So we had him tested when he was 23 months old. Hannah was 6 weeks old, and we got the diagnosis of autism, which was a punch in the gut. I knew something was wrong. We knew something was wrong, but hearing those words and hearing the psychologist talk to about your child that way, there's just no.
Yeah, you grieve. You go through all the emotions almost like you lost your child.
And then the day of diagnosis, I was keeping him when Christy and Rich went to go find out, and I knew in my heart what it was, but whew, it's like a cut out of your heart. The hardest thing then was is Christy is so social. She's such a social person, and when you have a child with autism, you really don't know whether you can take him out into this situation, that situation, because you don't know how he's going to react. And the reactions are can come from anything, from anybody looking at him, to touching him, to something put in front of him, to something out of the ordinary. And so she was isolated.
And then with this diagnosis, I started looking back and noticing how I felt like he was slipping away from me. And I just was so anxious to get started because I heard about ABA and I heard about Project Hope, and I just wanted to get in and get started because I was afraid if I didn't do something now that he was going to slip further away from me. And so that was our biggest fear, is we were just scared. But we were so fortunate to be led to the way to Project Hope and started services. And he had been in speech for 6 months, but within a month he had 15 words. And it was like just something clicked with ABA. It really did.
It was definitely a turn for us. You know, you saw hope.
Yeah.
You know, we had lots of neighbors with little kids, and just especially our next door neighbor had 2 little boys, and just seeing them interact with their dad after work. You know, I'm in the backyard was looking so forward to that with Jack, and you know, we really didn't. He didn't hit those milestones, so it was really difficult to. You know, when you want to play with your son, when you want to throw the ball, when you want to play chase, and he's just so distant.
Jack, go kick the ball.
Jack, come on, let's go kick it.
Go kick the ball.
Here we go. Jack, go kick. I'm just not interested, Mom.
I think he's tired.
Jack, kick.
He's walking through the path.
Oh boy.
And you're off again.
Now, I mean, in contrast, I get phone calls at work, and Daddy, when are you coming home? What are we gonna build tonight? What are we gonna play? I mean, you know, now we're playing Nintendo Wii, and he's kicking my butt legitimately, and just calling me and looking forward to it. It's just the greatest joy you can have. I think he's definitely further along and at a better place than I ever thought he would be. You know, early on, you know, pains me to admit it, but you know, you start wondering, gosh, is he going to be, you know, with us the rest of our lives? Or are we going to have to? What happens if something happens to us? How are we going to take care of him? And now we're talking about, where's Jack going to go to college?
He went from me not being able to touch him to now I can just grab him and hold him and hold him and hold him, and I never want to let him go. And he just talks and talks and talks and talks and
One
talks.
of the best moments ever was Hannah was about 8, 9 months old, and Jack at this point still really didn't even notice Hannah, and we'd have them in side-by-side strollers and things like that, and we actually had him in the bathtub, and Hannah usually constantly was trying to get his attention, like handing him stuff or throwing stuff or splashing, and it was almost like she was a gnat or something, like, get out of my way, move over, but he would never really focus. And one day I was bathing him, and he just kind of looked over at her, and it was like this realization on his face. He was like, whoa, wait a minute. There's a kid here.
Where did you come from?
Where did you come from?
Yeah.
I mean, he just saw Hannah, and at one point I didn't know if that was going to happen, and now watching him 3 years later,
Oh yeah.
they're best friends. I mean, he has to play with her, and he wants her to join in, and she wants him to join in and stuff. And now they argue, and I'll be driving down the road and I'll turn off the radio when I hear them arguing, because I think it's the sweetest sound in the world about them arguing about who's doing this after school, which toy they're going to play with, or who's talking to mommy loudest and first. And Jack's battling with Hannah. No, I wanted to tell mommy that story, and that I just love it. It's just awesome.
Hannah, I can't get more water. That's enough. Now one more, then that's all. All clean.
I can't say enough thank yous for all the treatment, and I wish everybody could have, you know, the treatment available to them and the support available to them that, you know, that Jack has had.
Project Hope has definitely brought the hope back to us, and instead of being scared, we're hopeful.